Hey guys, I hope you're doing good. I thought I would do a quick rundown of how I got here in the UK. So it started September 14th and I was getting ready to leave my house sit. And I had this whole plan worked out. The day before I went and got my COVID test, got it back the day before I left in the afternoon, negative. So my plans were to go. I had already booked all my tickets and had everything arranged. So if it did come back positive, that would have not been good at all. But we're negative. So that's good. So that evening I was doing laundry. I did not sleep that night. I could not fall asleep. I was so nervous I would wake up late or not have enough time in the morning to get things done. So I kind of laid in bed watching TikToks until about 3:30 in the morning, and I was like, let's just get up anyways. So I got up, started the laundry, got everything ready, took the trash out, and I was walking to the train station to go to Basel SBB, so the main train station in Basel, at 5:50 in the morning, and got on my train, and that took me to the main station. And then from there, my next train left at 6:50 to Paris. So how that worked is I had prepaid my ticket, just got on my plane, sat down. They just came by and scanned it when they were walking through. So that took me from Paris to Strasbourg in France, from Basel to Strasbourg in France. There I had to switch trains. So switched, and it was once I got to that gate to get onto the train to Paris that they actually checked my COVID test. So you check that, and then they check your ticket, and then you can wait, and then you go to your correct sitting area. So got on the train to Paris, and that was a pretty nice train. It was assigned seating, so everyone had to sit in their specific spots. So I ended up getting in Paris at about 10:15. And I knew I didn't have a lot of time to spend in Paris because I was catching the train from Paris to London and then London to Edinburgh. So I was spending about 10 hours this day on trains, but I kind of wanted that experience. So I think it was 2 subways from the station in Paris to the Eiffel Tower. And I have to say that was I think it was worth it when I was walking towards the Eiffel Tower from the metro stop.
Hey guys, I'm in Paris for 45 more minutes, so gotta get to the train.
Kind of peeking through the trees. I'm like, wow. Because I've seen the Eiffel Tower before, but it was about 13 years ago. So it was pretty nice to see it again. It was kind of a cloudy, overcast day, and it was kind of nice because it's the changing seasons. Fall is here, and there's people walking around and just generally being happy. And then when I was there, I was like, I should check to see when I have to be at the next place, because I don't know if there's a certain time that you have to get to the train station, kind of like at an airport. So I'm standing under the Eiffel Tower checking it, and it says I have to be there an hour and 20 minutes early. And I'm like, oh, I have to be there in 15 minutes. So I go on my phone, and there's a bus coming. I'm walking to the bus, it pulls up. I'm almost there. These 2 ladies walk in front of me and just stop walking. And I can't get around them because they keep moving. I don't know if they just didn't see me or whatever, but I ended up missing that bus. And then the next one said it was going to be there in 6 minutes, and it ended up being 15 minutes. Got on that bus, got to the place where I was supposed to switch to head to Paris Nord, and that I could not find that next, I couldn't find the next, I thought it was a bus that I was looking for that would take me to the train station. It was a subway. So I walked around Notre Dame area looking for, I think it was St. Michael Notre Dame, for an hour, completely lost and confused. I had my suitcase, my backpack. I was wearing my heeled boots because they wouldn't fit in my suitcase because my sneakers are they pack up smaller. So I was walking around, my feet were hurting so bad, and I was like, oh. And I was about to like start crying. I was so confused. I'm like, where is it? Finally, one police officer is like over there, and I probably had walked by it 3 or 4 times. It was an elevator in the side of the wall that you take down to the subway. I did not know that. So kind of keep that in mind if you visit Paris, that some subways have hidden elevators that you have to use to access them. So that's so much fun. But I got to Paris Nord, and I had watched a YouTube video that of a guy going from Paris to London, because I kind of wanted to like know what I had to go through. And I was so glad I watched that, because I remembered, because I was freaking out a bit because I was already panicked, because the train, by the time the subway got to Paris Nord, my train was leaving in 15 minutes. So I'm like, I was supposed to have an hour and 20 minutes. Now it's down to 15. It's crunch time. So and I remembered from the video, he said platform +1, so it's the very top station. And that day, all the escalators and all the elevators going up were like completely shut down, weren't working. So I was just like carrying my suitcases up, trying not to panic. I got to the thing. She's like, okay, here's your ticket. Have your your vaccination card. She's like, we can't guarantee you'll make your train because you're so late. And I'm like, okay, thank you so much. I was like, I'm not gonna make it. I get through French customs, British customs. They do the security check, and I'm like not running, but I'm walking very quickly. I'm walking with motivation. I get on the train with 7 minutes to spare, and I'm like, wow. I probably missed all the lines because I was so late, but I was cutting it close. And then once I got on there, the luggage rack where you're supposed to put bigger bags were all full. So I was just kind of standing there, like looking at it, like, I don't know what to do right now. And this British lady, she comes up on the stairs onto the train, and she goes, "You okay, love?" And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, "No space." And I'm like, yeah. She's like, "I've got you." And she started taking all of these people's duffel bags and moving them. She's like, "I don't know why." She's like, "I don't know why, paper with these little duffel bags. Just don't put them in the overhead compartment." Because the people with like bigger bags need to put them in the luggage compartment, because that's where they all fit. So we got my bag into the thing. It fit, like, we kind of had to like shimmy it in around other suitcases. And then as soon as that happened, this other lady got on the train with a suitcase that was twice the size of mine. And I'm just like, oh. So that was fun. Train from Paris to London, I think it's about 2.5 hours. I did not know the tunnel was that long. The Channel tunnel, like it's under the water, it's 23.5 miles. We were in the dark for so long, I was kind of getting worried. I'm like, is it supposed to take this long? But yes, it did. And then once I was in London, I got off the train in King's Cross, in St. Praxis. You cross the street to King's Cross. I think it's funny because they have a lot of signs that say look left, because that's the way that the cars are going to be coming. Because in the United States, you kind of learn right, left, right. But here, I guess it's left, right, left. So that's kind of interesting, like culture shock, like is immediately when I got into the UK. And then I got to my train, was sitting on the train to go to Edinburgh, and they say it's canceled. I'm like, no. So I get all my stuff off the train, and then they say, oh wait, it's back on, but it's gonna be in half an hour. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I get back on the train, get all my things in, and then it ends up being 5 hours instead of 4.5, because the North Line that day was having electrical problems, so they were running a longer route. So instead of it being 4 stops, it ended up being 10 stops. It's a very long journey. I ended up getting into Edinburgh at about 8:30, got to my Airbnb at like 8:45, showered, went to bed. I was exhausted. I was toast. And then I stayed at a really nice Airbnb. The lady was so nice, so kind. The bed was like a soft hug. I was like, oh, thank goodness I can lay down, put my feet up. And then the next morning, I had my COVID test that you have to take for day 2, kind of depending on where you're from and your vaccination status entering the UK. It kind of depends on that kind of like determines what kind of test you need to do. So I only needed to do a day 2 test. So I took that the next morning before I ate or drank anything, and then I was able to send it in the mail. So that's done. Still waiting on results because they said it could take 2 to 5 days, so that is quite a while. And then that morning I went to Greyfair's church or kirk, and that's a place where J.K. Rowling had some inspiration for character names and kind of themes in Harry Potter. And it's also where they have the sweet little Greyfair Bobby, the dog who sat by his owner's grave for 14 years until he passed away. His statue in tombstone was there. But it was a very lovely church with amazing stained glass and really good signs and kind of explanations about the different aspects of it. So you kind of got to like know all the work that's been put into the museum and its history. And then from there, I headed down to like the Old Town Market Street and kind of looked at all the shops. You can see Edinburgh Castle. I walked up to Edinburgh Castle. They said you didn't need reservations and that you could just buy tickets there, but once you get to Edinburgh Castle, they tell you to go online to buy tickets, and they were booked out until the evening the next day, so I didn't get to go in the castle, but I did get to see around it. It was pretty nice. Again, more stairs. Then after Edinburgh Castle, I walked down to Scotland National Gallery, the Scottish National Gallery, and I got to see all the artwork. It was really beautiful. It was also coming from like the Swiss museums. You definitely see like a difference between the art displayed in Switzerland and the art displayed in Scotland, and I thought that was pretty cool. I felt like there's like a different energy about the paintings and also about the museum. Like in Switzerland, the walls are white or kind of neutral, but in the Scottish National Gallery, the walls are bright red, and it kind of makes like the art kind of pop more, but also kind of blend in. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, and dark green walls and dark blue walls. There is some Monets, some Cézannes, some Degas. So I got to see some Impressionist art. There is some medieval art, Scottish art. There's statues. There's one of Cain and Abel that I thought was really, really cool. And then from there, I walked around, saw some more sites, and there was a TK Maxx. I was so excited when I saw that. I was like, a TK Maxx, which is the UK TJ Maxx. And I walked around, and TJ Maxx on the United States is one of my favorite stores. So I was just kind of having like a nice time looking at everything. I ended up getting a perfume. I got YSL's Black Opium. It's very nice vanilla smelling perfume, very sweet. And then from there, I went to the National Museum of Scotland. So it's nice that their main museums are free entry, so that kind of saves you some money when you go to the UK. And I saw the airplanes. I got lunch there. I think it was a bacon bagel sandwich and a Coke. But I got to see all of the archaeology for Scotland, kind of the history of like Mary Queen of Scots, the ecological evolution of the world in Scotland, and just kind of seeing all the different histories that they presented. And I was in there for about 2 hours, and I was like, okay, I'm pretty tired, I'm gonna head out. When I got out, I realized I'd only done like half of the museum. And then a really cool part is that they have stairs or a lift to the roof, so you get a really nice view of everywhere in Edinburgh. Then from there, I walked some more and I found the Elephant House, which is where J.K. Rowling wrote some of Harry Potter, but there was a fire in it in the past couple of years, so it is closed currently. Then I walked down to the bookstore, to Armchair Books, and I went book shopping. I have another video where I talk about the books I've gotten since I've been here in the UK, so you can go check that out. Yeah, then after that, I walked home. I got Starbucks for dinner. I got a bacon sandwich and a sausage roll and some coffee. They had a maple, their fall coffees are here now, so that was pretty nice. And I headed home. Then the next morning, I went thrifting and book shopping before I came up here to Newcastle. Well, down here to Newcastle. So if you want to see the thrifting and the book shopping video, that is one of the first UK videos I've posted. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm excited to see how my next 2.5 months here in the UK are going to go. I hope you guys have a nice week, and I'll check in with you later. Bye!